What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ethan and Noble podcast. And today we are filming from Mammoth Lakes, California for our Evolve Track Club first official altitude camp. And we are here with some of my old collegiate friends who are on my cross country and track and field team. I'm with Logan Pine, Connor Oldham, and Connor Dimitri. Sorry if I butchered any of your names. It's all love. But these guys, as I said, they're all old teammates from my time in cross country and track and field at Menlo College. And a couple of them are going into their senior year, and one of them, my boy Logan, is actually a graduated senior and moving on in his life a little bit. So we just wanted to get a grasp on some of these new personalities, where everybody is, checking in, going back to college post-COVID, and where you are in your training, life, and mindset. So let's start with Connor Dimitri. What's up, man?
Wow, this feels very official. This changed. The whole mood changed in the last 120 seconds, but I'm excited. It's kind of a loaded set of questions. But, so yes, like Noble said, I am going into my senior year, just like Connor O over here. We just got a new coach, Daniel Simpson. He seems like a super cool guy, giving us a pretty light load of training right now, but I think it's kind of good for where we're at this point in time, because everyone's at a different fitness level and different mindset, and I think everybody has different expectations going into the season. So I think at this point it's a good slow start to start gaining fitness and just prep for the season in general.
And actually, because we've all been here at camp right now, and I think I have one question for you, whereas I think it's not a secret here that you are probably the most fit person at this camp, and you have been very consistent, and you have been able to be consistently training injury-free and burnout-free through essentially the entire pandemic. And we saw you in that like track workout yesterday, and you were just moving really well, and you are moving well the day after going into your long run. So I'm kind of curious, like I want hot takes. Like what are the aspirations for this senior year and maybe going into a post-collegiate season as well?
I think when it comes to conference, it would be nice to be at least, I don't know. I think the bigger goal would be like a top 5. A secondary goal would be like a top 10. But I think the big goal, team-wise or individually, would be nationals for sure. As you guys know, we missed out on that last year, which you guys were a part of, which was less than pleasant. Yes. But anyway, so yes, I think that's all we had to say about that one. But
we don't talk about that.
I think I've been having more fun with training and thinking about this season's goals because there's not a bunch of pressure, I feel like. I think that's going to be key for us as a team and for me individually too, because it's if you can train and gain fitness and just get better in a casual way but still stick to those big goals, I think that's pretty important, because then I think you'll just be more relaxed and get more out of your training and build your mental game, which I think is like more than half of it. So that's also a super important factor. But yeah, I mean.
And let me know one more question before we move on. Tell me about that stash, bro.
Oh my gosh,
there we go,
yes. Yeah. But so we were watching the American Track League on that TV over there, and we watched our man Craig Engels pace the 1500 for a sub-4 attempt for some guys. And
the 1 mile, by the way.
Oh, was it the mile? Oh. Okay, that's a bigger deal. Never mind.
No wonder you weren't interested in that. You were like, oh.
Anyway, so yeah, Craig is rocking his stash. It's not really a Craig stash. It's more of a Joe Klecker stash, just because he's a stud and he just looks good in a mustache, honestly. He's a handsome fellow. And he's up on this new On Cloud team, and he's on the rise. He's shooting for the stars, but he's landing on the moon. And so anyway, so it's more like a tribute to Joe Klecker. If you're watching this, coming for you. Anyway, so yeah, that's where the mustache is coming from. It's not a Craig Engels thing, which doesn't play into this question really at all. Like I said, it did. But yeah, so I think it gives me some power, honestly. Like kind of like Craig says, it's like your running abilities just get better if you have a mustache. Mm-hmm. It's science. Yeah. This is not a joke. It's science. So
They need that in the sub 2 next time they go after that.
So next time there's a sub 4 attempt, I'll pay more attention because I thought it was 1500s.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. What's up with Connor O over here, man?
Yo.
Yeah, get us going. So, like, what's up?
So what's up with me is I'm kind of up here just to get fit again. This whole pandemic. In the beginning of the pandemic, it was kind of weird. As Connor said, we kind of had we have a new coach now, but earlier we kind of went through a coaching transition sort of thing, and it was kind of, some people lost focus, but others trained through the whole thing like it was nothing. And I was kind of in that pool in the beginning. I was like motivated because I thought we were going to go back a lot earlier than we were. I thought we were going to go back last spring. And then that didn't happen. And then summer rolled around, then had a little fun. Probably a little too much fun, but and probably wasn't really running as much as I should. But yeah, now we're up here in Mammoth trying to get it back.
What's some of your goals being up here, just training before the season?
Well, I've been doing a lot of trail running with you, but I've just been kind of trying to run again, like in general. I haven't run in like 2 months, so.
What's your guys' process? Because I know you guys been training for like multiple years. What's your process of like getting fit again? You know, because I know like to me, maybe who haven't really been running for that long, getting fit is maybe something a little bit more intimidating. You know, in the intimidating process. Yeah. Is that for you? Like you just been in and out of fitness so many times that you just feel like, you know, like what's your process with it?
Yeah, it's been kind of weird. Like I would try and get back on it like for a week in the summer, then I just storm off again and do whatever, and then get back on it for a week. But I was never like consistent in the summer. But now I'm just trying to get my head down and try and focus on volume. Because for me, I think that works best for me. As long as I up my mileage and increase my mileage more and more and more, I think that builds a good base for me.
How long does it take you usually to like get back to being fit again?
From where I'm at now, probably like a couple months, close to base fitness.
And that actually leads to a great question. So what is fit? What is like, when do you like, what is fitness, you know? For you, it's because I know for all of us and even for you, it's a moving target. There is never like one moment where you're like, well, there is sometimes, but never all the time when you're just like, I am fit. But like when you said base fitness, to you, what is kind of base fitness? Like, how do you know you're at base fitness?
It's all honestly just a feeling. Like you just know it. You know, I'm there. I'm almost there. I'm there. Just, you know, destroy. I'm close to that level where I'm confident I can get on that starting line, and just, you know, F shit up.
I love it.
And sometimes you don't even know how fit you are until it happens and you race and you're like, damn, that was solid. And then you're like, okay, wow, I'm more fit than I was a week ago or whatever. So it does sneak up on you too. So you never know, Ethan.
But I actually love that. Let's we'll come back around actually and let you guys kind of have a nice roundtable. But let's go back to Logan. Logan, tell us what is up. What's going down with you?
My name is Logan Pine. So I'm kind of just in this transition phase where I just graduated. And I fell off the horse for a while. I think similar to these guys, well, not Connor, because he's perfect, but Connor O here stopped training because of the pandemic. You know, it sucked. We were supposed to go to nationals, and we missed out on cross-country nationals and then the marathon. And that was just a shot to the gut. It didn't feel very good, but I kind of took a year off almost, started running again. Now, like literally yesterday. And it just feels good to be back up here with these guys and training again. So I'm excited.
Just kind of a similar question I asked Connor earlier. Like, what's your process, your individual process of getting back into fitness? Like, do you have your own kind of philosophy of approaching it?
And actually, to piggyback off of that, is that a different mindset or a different standard now than it would have been going into your senior year for cross country?
Yeah. I mean, right now it's super casual. Everything's relaxed. I don't even have a coach, maybe Noble, but so it's a long process. I mean, right now it's just like maybe every other day running, 2 or 3 miles. But similar to Connor, I just want to get fit. And I think my version of fitness is being able to get more fit. So you need to build a base. I don't know if you want to pitch in on that. You look very enthusiastic, but I know a lot of us agree. I think you have to get fit to get fit.
We love it.
You have to build a base, and then you can start doing the hard workouts. And so right now I'm kind of just building a base. I'd like to get up into the upper mileage, 50, 60 miles a week, but not really focusing too much on my performance. Maybe running a 10K here in a couple months. Who knows? We'll see. But really just trying to build a base fitness and approaching it a lot differently. So like I said, really relaxed, really chill, and just having fun with it.
I actually love that. And as far as and I think I'm gonna pass these mics off to the three of you guys when I kind of ask this question. As far as like we kind of talked about physically, like what's your physical preparation for it, but what's your mental state when you go into that? Like how do all three of you feel when you're like preparing and moving from a point of like being detrained, moving into a point of being base trained into a period of being like able to train specifically for the event you are running for? And again, I know that's a moving target, but I think all three of you have had a lot of points. I've seen it in your careers where you've kind of like almost just like snapped and changed into different athletes kind of from where you were. And I think all three of you probably have a moment that popped up in your head, or like a week or month that popped up in your head where you guys were like, oh yeah, I remember that time. Right. And I'm kind of curious as far as like, what was your mental state then? And like, what's your mental state in a ramp up to kind of get back to a certain image of that is comparable in any sort of way?
Yeah, so the mental aspect of it is actually a whole other animal. I mean, I think these guys would agree with me. It's probably the hardest hurdle in running. I think everyone would definitely agree. But for me personally, I just think it's all about just like knowing that you put in the work. And that just goes so far. Like there's usually that one workout. Certainly for me, when I was building up to the marathon, and coach had us do that 24 miler. And personally for me, when I did that below my goal race pace, that for me was just like boosted my confidence mentally. It's like I did this like 10 seconds faster average pace than my goal race pace for the standard to qualify for nationals. So that for me was like the icing on the cake for that whole training block. And I just knew I was ready in that moment. And it was just a long buildup of work that you can look back on. And it's like, yeah, I've suffered this long. We're ready to suffer again.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of our old mentalities was kind of like be elite, be the best you can and strive to be like a professional athlete. And that's what we did. And I think we had a lot of great breakthroughs in that way. I know Connor certainly had a great breakthrough with the marathon. You did as well. But I think now it's mostly just like, for me, it's just building back up. I don't really care about being elite. I'm kind of just focused on being a runner again and getting back into shape. I know Connor's on the opposite side of the pendulum a little bit. He's in his...
That's okay.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. It's definitely a spectrum. But Connor's working towards being elite. He's putting the time in. He's trying to be almost perfect, like I said. And that's not really a good word to use, but trying to be the best that he can. And he's
pursuing perfection.
Yeah.
You're shooting for the stars.
Not
trying
like
to
you're
be
necessarily, if you're shooting for perfection, even if you miss out on a goal, it's like you're still going to end up close or maybe even above what you expected. Yeah. But I mean, I guess for me personally, I don't know. I mean, for me, I think the clicking moment was the summer going into sophomore year. I don't know. I think it was more like I noticed the mental change, but then the physical change is what actually surprised me. Like coming back after summer training, I feel like I didn't even hit summer training as hard as I should have or as hard as I could have. But then something changed. I don't know if it was when Ben stayed with us that summer or having just a different influence or diet or whatever. Whatever it was. I think that was kind of like my general clicking moment. And then I think having more success over the season is what kind of boosted my confidence. And then that mixture of seeing results and the confidence boosting, I think just kind of built me up even more. And then it set my goals even higher. And then it all kind of circles around setting new goals, hitting those goals, building more confidence, and seeing more results. I think that's pretty key.
Momentum. Sounds like building momentum is.
Yeah.
It's one of the most important things, I think, is if you take time off running and you try to come back, obviously you don't have a lot of momentum going.
Yeah.
And so you feel sluggish.
Feel that.
Yeah. Mentally, you got to get yourself back into it. You got to fall in love with it again. But when you're rolling and you're knocking workouts out, you're getting ready for races, it feels great. Things just heat up and you just go with it. So
I know for me personally, confidence is a big thing, because I know especially my senior year in high school, I was fit and I had the ability to hit the goals that I wanted to, but without the confidence and ability to believe in yourself, no matter how much others say you can do it or how much others believe in you, it's not going to happen unless you make it happen. Whatever that means to you, however you train or build yourself up mentally, it doesn't matter unless you make it happen. So I think that's a really big thing for me. It's a confidence thing, because if it doesn't matter how confident I am or how fit I am, if I can't make it happen, then it's like, okay, you build all this fitness, you put all this time in for what? It's like almost a waste of a season if you're not gonna reap the benefits.
And kind of like what Logan said about momentum. See, running is all about consistency. And it's like when you have, like kind of earlier in the year when I was like running here and there, like maybe 2 times a week, it was just never as enjoyable when you're running like a training block, when you're running consistently and you feel the improvements coming. Mm-hmm. When you just run every once in a blue while, you don't really love it. You're just kind of doing it just to run, to stay in somewhat physical condition. But yeah, consistency's the main key.
I think it also helps having a team. When we were all at Menlo, you're doing track workouts together, you're doing any kind of workout together, really. Whether you're in the weight room or we're doing like a fartlek or an interval, you have guys around you who are on the same mission, and momentum's huge in that way. The pandemic kind of dispersed everybody and you're running by yourself, and it kind of kills your momentum a little bit. And I think that's kind of what brought me away from running. I was in love with it, and then everything happened and I kind of just fell out of it and couldn't get myself back into it. But things like this, being in camp and being up in Mammoth and talking to these guys, it makes you want to run. It makes you want to get back in shape. And I think group cohesion and that kind of momentum is so powerful for a runner. That's why you see professionals, they start running groups, It's not like where people are just training by themselves, because training with the group is just so much more efficient. You get bought into it, and it just makes you a better runner overall. So, yeah.
And I actually love that. You guys had some great responses there. And I almost wanted to, because you guys are really into that, I almost wanted to dive deeper, because if you guys didn't know, we are in a room of not just track athletes, but marathoners. And I'd say all of you have ran a marathon. We had one person here who maybe wasn't able to finish the marathon for reasons that we will get into, I think, very soon here. But I think I wanted to hear, because you have all entered and started one marathon, correct? Yeah. So what I wanted to hear from you guys was, how do you mentally approach races? Because just to give you guys an insight on what I do, I've had a lot of issues with like race mentality, anxiety, and I've dealt with a lot of issues going into races and how I approach that. And I think, like you said, if you don't have the confidence or the mental state, it means nothing. Your fitness really means nothing if you're not ready to go there. But I think I've seen all three of you ready to go there. And big shout out to all of you for being able to do that. But I'm really curious about how the three of you mentally approached the imponderous endeavor of a marathon. What were you thinking leading up to it? Like a week into it, on the starting line? I know you mentioned a little bit of that, but like moving into it, on the starting line and during the race, and how that kind of played into like the results that you got during that time. And I think you guys all have very interesting stories, so I'm going to stop talking and let you guys go for it. Who wants it?
Yeah, I'll pick it back up. I think it's actually really interesting, that point that you make. I think that's kind of was one of our breakthroughs for each of us, was the marathon. So I think that's a great topic.
Mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all kind of broke through on that.
We all kind of clicked.
But I think for build-up wise, you know, it's tough training for a marathon. There's a lot of build-up, especially if it's your first. Heavy mileage, I would say, is what we were doing. On the physical aspect, I'd say it was a long build-up. First, we did a half. In the NAI, you can use a half marathon to qualify for the full marathon for nationals. And that's what we did, except for Connor. Connor ran CIM. But,
And Connor, right? Connor and Connor. You guys both ran
Oh, yeah,
marathons
you
to
also ran a
qualify.
full. But for me personally, the half was great. We went down to Napa, and that was a big confidence booster because I ran a lot better than I thought I would. Big breakthrough, and I really just fell in love with marathons.
And that was the first time. He's done it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well-
You did the Iron Oak.
Yeah. Well, I've actually run, 2 half marathons and a full, well, almost a full. We'll get into that in a little bit. But so I'd say the buildup it's long and slow. It's very arduous, and, you know, you just take it day by day. You don't want to get too burnt out because it is a lot of running. But I think our coach was great about that. He had us running in groups. We almost had a little marathon training group. Noble was certainly a part of that. He ran at Napa.
That definitely made it fun.
That's another story, too.
Yeah, he can share on that later.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, group cohesion is great. When you're suffering on a 24-mile long run and you just want it to be over, you have someone right next to you, you know, running those miles with you. So that's great. Teamwork is a huge part of that. But I think the mental aspect, you know, the weeks leading up to it, I had a lot of mantras in my head. You know, and it sounds a bit extreme, but, you know, I kind of go back to that be elite mentality where I just wanted to do my best. I wanted to be the best. And I had mantras like, you know, I was willing to die, you know, I just to the death. Like if I was doing a long workout, a fartlek or an interval, and you're deep in the pain cave and you just want to stop, you have to repeat those things to yourself, you know, and leading up to that, you repeat those to yourselves even when you're not running, because you know when you get into that marathon or the half that you're going to come into that pain cave, and that's the only thing that's really going to keep you going, and it's going to get you out on the other end. And so I think positive self-talk is huge. If you're negative inside when you talk to yourself, you're going to bring yourself down. You're going to talk yourself out of it. But if you're your own teammate, you're your own best friend in that sense, then that's huge for your mental game. And that'll drag you through the deepest, darkest, most painful parts of workouts and marathons. And yeah, so to sum that up, I'd say it's long and arduous. It's great to have a team, and it's great to talk to yourself in a great way. So yeah, keep that in mind.
Also, what Logan said about training, I kind of touched on this before, but when he was talking about, you know, long runs and going to that pain cave, I feel like when you're certainly in the race and you're experiencing that deep pain cave, you can kind of think back on past training sessions and past long runs and think, I've been here before.
Oh yeah.
What's so different about this?
Yeah.
Why would I fold? If I didn't fold then during training, why am I going to fold now?
Yeah.
It's like, you just, like he said, you just have to be willing to die. And the last 2 miles, when I did my marathon, I don't know about you, but the last 2 miles were the worst for me.
Oh yeah.
And you just have to keep taking your goos, and you just the good old goos, and you just have to keep thinking positive thoughts, because Logan's right. When your mind goes, your body goes.
Yep.
It's when you concede in your mind, like I'm really hurting, and those negative thoughts start just pooling up in your head. The race is already lost. Your body's going to start shutting down. So you just have to keep. It sounds kind of stupid. You just have to keep saying, I can do this. I can do this. Keep thinking those positive thoughts, like I'm going to finish.
Yeah.
And people that don't do that stuff or don't partake in extreme physical or mental activities don't get it. Like they might think that's odd or it's weird or
You might think it's
oh, I
dumb,
don't.
like a
That's
cliche.
not what I would do. It's like, well, we don't care what you're gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. So like, whatever gets you motivated and what's gonna get you through the workout and get out the door for your ridiculous doubles and whatever at the track at 7 a.m. That do it because it's gonna work for you. So yeah.
Well, and I think the proof is in the pudding for that. I don't want to sound like cocky or anything, but when I went to Alabama and I raced the marathon at the NAIA Nationals, my mindset was so locked in. I was so mentally ready to just give everything up to win or to run my best race. And I ran myself right into a heat stroke. And so that's just like the prime example of, you know, mentally you can be as fortitude as possible. You can just have as much mental strength, but your body will give out. And so I think that's just a sentiment to mental strength is it'll take you through the darkest parts, even to when your body's going to give out. I was about 23 miles in and just collapsed. And then I woke up and I was in the back of a gator on the way back to get an IV going and
Legs dangling.
yeah, legs dangling, a little out of it. It was like,
That was a lot of people in that race.
yeah. And well, yeah. So
We're
to give you
dropping like flies.
some context, it was about, I think it was like 90% humidity.
It's disgusting.
About 95 degrees outside. So very hot, very humid, middle of the summer in, Alabama, Gulf Shores, Alabama. And I don't ask me why they hold a marathon there every year, but that's the place they chose.
Change the venue.
And yeah, so I mean, I think it was about 25% of the field ended up dropping out of that one due to heat related injuries. And I was one of them. But yeah, long story short, mental toughness and mental preparation for these long, hard races will take you a long way. Yeah.
And I feel like I want to touch on one more thing. For a marathon specifically, the mental approach, I don't know if you guys would agree, is a lot different than like a race in the track.
Oh yeah.
And
certainly.
yeah, even a cross country race, and kind of in a more, obviously it's way longer. So you're studying the course, you're preparing for what areas and what like parts of the course do you feel you're gonna need to like really push, what areas are probably going to be more painful, like hills. It's a completely different animal than any 5K, 10K, 15.
It's a lot of planning.
Yeah.
You got to plan out your goos, aid stations, really just everything that goes into it. Mm-hmm. And it's not fun taking a goo with no water halfway through your race. And you're just like, so there's a lot that goes into it. Planning, I know we all have had a sit down with our past coach, and we've done a lot of planning. He's great at that, talking about what to do, when to kick, when to hold out, just things like that. So lots of logistics, lots of mental game, and lots of physical preparation. So yeah.
A big part for me, I think, in my marathon buildup, it was funny because I didn't even realize how long my marathon buildup really was until after the fact, and I thought about the last 8 months or so of running. It's like, okay, it kind of even started mentally the previous summer, and I knew going into cross country, I had goals for that. But then also I think cross country, I don't know if anyone would agree, but is a really good build up for anything. But I think especially the marathon, looking back at it, because I think it just builds a lot of strength. And for me, it taught me how to hurt. And I think that's something that I always struggled with, and that was the first season or year that I really learned how to really, really grind in workouts. And I think a big part of that was because of the teammates that I had, for sure. And these three specifically, because in high school, I was never as successful as I wanted to be, and even my freshman year of college, which was like a bust because I just didn't know how to hurt. I didn't know how to even make myself hurt enough in workouts to reap the benefits and to actually build really good fitness, and even having discipline in the dietary department. So I think having a couple of key guys who are like-minded people who had similar goals, the mental aspect was even bigger for me. But I think my marathon buildup ended up being this huge thing that I didn't even realize until, I mean, even in cross country, I remember Noble even asked me on one of our morning runs, like, so are you like, you're still running this marathon, right? And I was like, I guess so. Like, even through the cross country season, even when I felt like I was having these successes and gaining all this fitness more than I had before, I had zero expectations really going into that marathon, because it was something that I hadn't even gotten close to doing before. I was like in high school, the most I ever ran on a long run was like 12 miles. Weekly mileage was very moderate up to that point. I was just barely touching on success in cross country, and then building up to this marathon was like this huge task that I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to throw myself at it and hope for the best. But I think that also is what helped me so much, because I was nervous for the marathon, but I had zero expectations. But I think there was no fear. I think I was really just confident, as confident as I could be in my fitness at that point. And I had the support from teammates and coaches, but really like it was up to me, like especially being up there with just myself and my parents. It was like, you're not up there with the team. It's this marathon. It's not all about you. It's not a conference event. It's like, you signed up for this, you paid the money, make it happen.
Let's go see what I can do.
Make it happen, or just be a loser until the next one. Like, so, and that's what I thought. Like, I had zero expectations, and even the night before the marathon, like texting back and forth with Coach Crines, like, it was like, all right, man, like, you had like our first goal at first was the B standard, and he asked me, he was like, "What do you think? Is there any way that you think you could go after the A standard?" And even the night before, I didn't even plan on doing the A standard, and I was like, probably. I was like, I think so. It wasn't even like, oh yeah, this is for sure. I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess. And he was like, all right. He's like, then just go for it. And I said, okay. And I just went for it, and I think I lucked out. I think, yes, the build up and the preparation was all there, and the mentality was there, but I really do think that is combined with a little bit of luck too. Cause I mean, I had like the perfect race conditions, like the perfect race that I could have possibly asked for, went well under the A standard, and completely surprised myself. And yeah, I mean, I kind of had like the perfect conditions. Like it was maybe in like the high to mid 60s. It was a little drizzly. The course itself, CIM, is a net downhill, but very, very flat, some gradual downhill, but just a fast course, a lot of fast people there too. So it was kind of like the perfect storm. If I was going to make it happen, it was going to happen. And it was, even the whole time I was running, you go through like the mile markers or whatever, and I was like, you better not mess this up. I was like, I was hit like after every mile, I was wondering, I'm like, oh, when am I going to hit the wall? When am I going to hit the wall? When am I going to feel like crap? When am I going to feel like crap? And it just never happened. And that was the weirdest thing. It was like, even when I finished, I was like totally fine. Like even I was not sore post run at all. And it was odd. I don't know if that was just like a fitness thing, or it must have been, I guess. Maybe I was just more ready for the marathon than I thought I was going to be. I don't know. But I mean, in my instance, I think I had a lot of good preparation and support and luck. So I think it all kind of played together. And it was like a almost perfect negative split the whole race. So I think that was huge. But definitely shout out to Coach Crines, even though he's not with us on the team anymore. I think everyone could agree that he boosted us up, even though he isn't with us. While he was there, he definitely pushed us to be different athletes mentally and physically in certain aspects, because I didn't even know the NAI had a marathon until he showed up. So I think we were lucky that he was so into the marathon to begin with, that he kind of pushed it on us. And it even took Logan doing it and being successful, because like I did and still look up to Logan so much, and like athletically especially, and him being my roommate the first year, I think he was probably like the perfect person to have been paired with my freshman year, because he was very like just on it with his studies and education, but then also with the athletics as well. He was always on, and I felt like, especially my freshman year, I was like, dang, this guy just like he's always on, and he just was super focused, and I think that was a good motivator too. And having Noble, of course, he's always just he's very positive, straight-laced, and just motivated, but casual, and always just boosting you up. Like no matter who you are, he's always like he wants the best for you. So I think, yeah, that's my TED talk. That's my spiel.
Hey, well, that was so awesome, guys. Thank you so much for sharing your experience about how you like mentally prep and go into something as hard as a marathon. But I actually had a slightly more surface level question. We got to give the people what they want, and I know you guys are all very diligent athletes.
I don't feel like taking my shirt off.
All I can say is, Connor, by the way, I know you mentioned, I can confidently say you have surpassed all three of us in the dietary discipline department. Oh, yeah. So you get kudos for that. But I wanted to ask you guys, what are your favorite workouts to do? Like, let's get a little nuts and boltsy. Like, when you guys have sessions coming in, like, what do you guys like to do? What is your favorite one? Like, what would you guys pick for yourself? You know, what do you feel like you perform best in? What do you look forward to? Give me like specific workouts too. You know, that's what I want to hear. That's what the people want to hear. So let's hear it.
I'm sure
and you guys can roll into it.
People want just more than just that.
So let's let it go. What do you guys want?
So I think one of my favorite workouts I've ever done is 400 repeats. It's very simple, but you can do anywhere from like 10 to 20, 400 repeats with a minute rest in between. I think it flows very nice. Once you get into a rhythm, you just start ripping them out. It gets you ready for the track, certainly. I wouldn't say for cross country or like a marathon, but I'd say it gets you ready for, I mean, you could really use it for anything. 800, 1500, which is what I ran in college, 1500 all the way up to 5K. But
all the way up to marathon.
Well, yeah, not on the track though.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
That's one thing people don't understand. They're like, you have to run all those laps on the track.
No, the marathon is on the road. But yeah, 400 repeats was good for me.
People don't know how many laps a 10K is.
Yeah.
Shall nameless.
But yeah, and then I think we did a lot of interval and fartlek work at Menlo. I really like we did so many different variations. I like the 2 minutes on, whatever off, just on off workouts.
And what are you hitting on these? Like, what is your pace kind of?
Let's see.
Average.
So yeah, it has been a while. It's been it's been a couple years.
Maybe in like a peak fitness.
I'd say we were hitting right around 5 minute pace, 5 minute per mile. We were gearing up to run close to 5 flat for cross country. So when I say fartleks and intervals, we were using those for cross country season. They do work for track as well. We did some on the track, but we did a lot for cross country. And so I think we were just really, for 8K, we were trying to run, close to 5 minute pace. I think we were around 5:10, I can't remember what my PR is, to be honest, but we were getting close, and just to get to nationals. And so I think those workouts helped a lot. They're very difficult because the rest is you're not stopping and you're not walking. It's slightly slower than the pace that's on. And so it just goes and goes and goes, and you really feel like you don't have a time to fully recover. And that's the point, is to, simulate a race. And when you're running an 8K and you're competing with something, you don't have time to back off the gas. It's neck and neck. And so you have to be ready to recover on the run almost. And that's what was great about those workouts. And they built so much fitness and strength and confidence as well going into an 8K. So yeah, 400 repeats, and then the fartleks and the intervals were great for me, I'd say. What about you guys?
Definitely, it's going to kind of sound continuous, but for me, my favorite workout is the 15 one on, one off by 15.
That's good for marathon.
Yeah.
That was a great marathon.
I feel like I get the most out of that, just continuous work. So the on is 1 minute slower than race pace, so you're still getting that, and then the off is 1 minute slower than race pace, and the on is 1 minute faster than race pace. So you're getting that rest is not really a rest, but it's like an active rest, and I feel that you're getting something out of that.
Yeah.
It's not just a stop and you're done. So that's that I feel like I get the most out of that. But also, I'm a sucker for some 800 repeats too. Yeah. Not gonna lie. Those get me really fit, but honestly, like with those, anything on the track for me personally, I need to get that base fitness level. I can't just like we had you did a workout with a 800 a mile like the other day. If I went and did that right now, I would blow up.
It's a lot of turnover on the track.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
do need a base to go into that.
But like the fartleks, for example, like those, for me personally, those really help get me fit, I feel, like quickly.
I agree. I think fartleks are what you need, but not necessarily what you want, unless
They're painful.
They can be fun, but they're fun when you run them fast and with confidence. But I think I enjoy a fartlek every now and then, but honestly, I really do enjoy rep-based work. And we didn't do as much of that the previous year or two. I mean, I think we all enjoy fartleks, but I think that's what our previous coach pushed really hard. But I think it definitely helped us all. And then I think, geez. But definitely, I enjoy rep-based stuff. Maybe some 400s are always fun because it's like, it's a short distance. It's short enough that it's fun. And it's like, it's not too painful unless you're running super fast. 400s, 800s, 600s are fun. But I think when they get higher than that, they get less fun for sure.
Mile repeats.
I do actually enjoy mile repeats. 1000s I think suck. Yeah. And if you are looking for some trainers, if you haven't heard of Evolve Track Club, a little plug here. They are looking to make you personalized workouts and get you fit on your time and your agenda. So I would definitely hit them up for that.
They'll give you a shirt too.
And they're all about health.
Yes. And as far as that, I also want to do, I know we got a little bit more time here, but we're going to wrap it up soon. I wanted you to pass that mic on to Ethan, because Ethan, if you guys didn't know, Ethan just ran his first running race of his life about, what was it, a week ago or 2 weeks ago? And he actually has been training very well. And as someone who is a roommate with him, I've noticed how his mentality has shifted. But I wanted to ask you, as someone who's kind of like still getting into the groove of like really enjoying running, like, where's your head at? What are you up to? And what's your favorite, like, quote unquote, workout to do? It doesn't have to be rep based. I know you've been hitting the trails a lot. You're kind of aspiring ultra runner. Like, what do you enjoy most about running, and where do you kind of get your drive and desire from?
We lit up them trails this morning, didn't we?
You know, and you guys probably know this. I didn't run in college, and I think I kind of just picked up running right after college, actually in the middle of the pandemic, and I kind of picked up running when kind of my life was falling apart. And I think it was like one thing that I could, control was like, I could just go out and run. But, fast forward to now, I've been training for about, I've been running for about a year and a half, but I've been actively kind of training for the past 2 months. And, get to kind of spend a lot of time with Noble. And now with these guys for the next week, and really get to be part of a running community, get to see kind of who's out there, who's kind of like pioneering, and especially with the Olympics coming up, and a lot of excitement, a lot of community, and for me personally, I got to kind of expand to see what's kind of out there in just the field of running. And for me, what I noticed too is like I really love the trails, right? And I think that's something that I learned that I think especially for me when I kind of beat myself down, like a year before, where it's like, why can't I run fast on the road? Why can't I run fast on the track? Or why can't I be, what's really helped me is it really able to find like what excites me about running. And I think running is just a big field, a big sport, and everybody have kind of like their own areas that things that excite them. But yeah, it's been really fun. I think, especially when I kind of able to articulate what really what really excites me about running, that kind of keeps me when you want to go out every day. I really like that, like a lot of trail run with a lot of vert. I really, want to spend a lot more time with elevation, and hopefully, in a year or two, be able to, step my foot on those like ultra running races, and maybe Western State one day.
There we go.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's kind of what really keeps me going to really find what's exciting in the field of running for myself. And I think even like for a lot of people who like listening this far, like even if you're not running like on the road, on the track, or I feel like there's different type of runnings for everybody. And yeah, and well, last thing I'm gonna say is I encourage anybody to just like go out there, go try out the roads, the tracks, the trails, climbing, going downhill.
Just have fun with
Yeah, just have fun with it. Find what excites you, what kind of area excites you.
Start your journey.
Yeah, there's something in running for everybody.
Wow, that is wonderful. And I think the last thing I wanted to ask all of you is just like, we're up here, we're doing the damn thing up here, and we're gonna wrap it up pretty soon. But the last thing I wanted to ask you is like, what's next for you guys? Like, what is your aspiration? Getting home from camp, going on, doing whatever you're gonna do. It doesn't have to be about running. I know 2 of you are going back to college. Tell me what your mentality is. 1 of you is going into kind of like that limbo phase in their life, and you have plans after that. So all 3 of us, like, let us know real quick, like a minute and a half, like what's up, what's next?
Yeah. So when I get back into Reno, which is where I live, it's right back to work. Which is right now, it's kind of just a stepping stone. I'm just working to make some money in the meantime. But my goal is to go to PA school within the next couple years. So
I don't know what that means.
Physician assistant school, medical field. But yeah, so kind of just the next step is going to EMT school, being certified as an EMT, working as an EMT to get some clinical hours, some patient care experience. And then I will be going to the University of Nevada, Reno, most likely, to take some more classes. I need to knock out some prerequisites, but hopefully within the next couple years, I'm going to PA school and doing that whole thing. Obviously still running. I'd love to get more involved with the Evolve Track Club and become an athlete and get back on the road, marathons, 10Ks, who knows? We'll see. But, and just stay fit, get back into it because it's great. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so for me, when I get back, it's pretty much straight back to work. So I'm actually working for a startup running short brand called Leaf Running Shorts. You guys should check it out. Sorry for the plug. But that's what we're doing here. So. Yeah. But yeah, I have to go back to work on that. And yeah, aside from that, just I'm going to try and get away from kind of the bad influences back home and focus more on training and getting ready for the season coming up in about a month. So yeah, and just really focusing on the work, just putting more solid work in and getting fitter and fitter and looking forward to a good season, a good last season. I'm going into my last year. So yeah, hopefully just go out with a bang. See what happens. I'm definitely gearing towards getting redemption in the marathon in the spring. That's kind of I was telling Noble actually a few days ago. That's kind of where my mindset's at. I'm not saying I'm looking past cross country, but I definitely really have a big chip on my shoulder that I qualified for nationals, and obviously when COVID hit, I didn't end up getting to race and go because it got canceled. But I definitely want redemption my last year in that race. So that's where my main mindset's at.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to jumpstart senior year in almost a month. I think we have to go back to campus on the 13th of August. So that'll be super fun. I think I'm excited to kind of be back on campus because it's been so long. And I think I'll enjoy it even more, and probably Connor as well, because it's been so long. And I think it'll kind of be the same old Menlo, but very new at the same time because there'll be so many new faces. Yeah. But I think in terms of running, I for sure have some major goals that I haven't even voiced to anybody because I don't know, people might think they're crazy or you're not fit enough or you're not good enough. But like, I feel like I have nothing to lose. So, but we want to have a banging cross country season, definitely chase some PRs, nationals, 100%, not even a question. We're going. If we have an indoor track season, then that'll be fun. We've never done indoor before, but that would be super cool. That'd be a new experience. Track for sure. The marathon, 100%. I mean, why not chase an individual title? I think if I stay healthy and training goes well and I have the support, and I think that's definitely a possibility. So nothing to lose. So I'm getting after it. So watch out.
We're coming for it all.
Whatever that means.
Dang. Wow. Ethan, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, kind of like this guy. For me, I'm kind of on my own individual journey. I think I'm gonna spend some more time on the trails, getting some local races, just to build my fitness up. And I think I'm gonna spend kind of 2021 just building my base fitness. And again, like you guys said, you get fit to get fitter and to get fit. And hopefully next year I can start looking at, races with more depth, and just work my way up slowly. And I think running is a long-term game. Yeah. And I know Noble also want to update, kind of everybody what he's been up to with running and with, just everything else. And I know like there's a reason why we haven't done one of these in a long time. Kind of like what have you been up to?
Well, yeah. So within the bounds of time, just pretty much been grinding a lot on a couple of different projects. One is our Evolve Fitness Club and Evolve Track Club. Really been enjoying that. We've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but I'm learning a lot and we're making a lot of progress. And I think that ties a lot into training. It's been super fun to feel healthy again. I've gone through a lot of different injury problems, and as all the boys know, it's always from the knee down. Yeah. But I've been really into weight training lately a little bit, mixing that in with my runs. I'm definitely trying to take a more mature approach to running, and holding myself back rather than pushing myself too hard. And you know what? To say it quite frankly, I have no business being as fit as I am right now. So we'll see what the future is. We're gonna get some stuff on the calendar here, but all I can say is the future is bright for distance running and in the world. You guys are all great people. Thank you so much for being on. And until next time, thanks for tuning in. And y'all know the drill. Stay healthy, stay chill.
Cheers, friends.
Woo!
Love that.